All right, somebody, a while ago asked me for my opinion on Apple versus the FBI as far as the privacy debate is concerned, and I finally got some time to sit down and speak about it. Um, as far as what I thought, I didn't know that um, that actually they had so much security on the phone. Um, from my understanding, I thought that the FBI and the police already had access to all the information on their phone anyway. I've heard about situations where people committed a crime and then they just, you know, tracked them down by their phone, by the GPS and everything. So I just assume that everything that we do on our phone is already tracked and monitored by the government anyway. So it was to my surprise to find out that the FBI tried to get into that killer's phone and they couldn't get into it. They couldn't crack the code, and they needed the assistance of Apple to crack the code and get in there. It was to my surprise. And knowing that, I think it's good to have that security. I give a thumbs up to Apple to have such good security on their equipment and devices. Um, I'm not sure if this. I don't think the same security is going to be available for the Androids. The other phones, maybe just the iPhone. So I like the security. I think it's a good thing. I think that it's good that Apple is standing up against the FBI. I think that shows a lot, for what the company believes in, and just kind of, to me, it's almost like the people versus the government, and it's important for the people to protect their rights of security, and the right to privacy. Like we live in this digital age where so much information is just all over the internet, and I almost assume that the government knows everything, and we all put that information out there like willfully, freefully, like free. We just put all that information out there like nothing. It's like we give up our own privacy, you know, just by having a Facebook page allows the government to just know so much information about us, putting up our post, our photos, our birth date, where we work, where we live, our resumes, and like our thoughts, what we buy, where we go, where we check in. It's like we're allowing the government to just know everything about us. Like we don't even have any secrets and no privacy because we gave it up on our own, like willfully, and we live in this technology, in this world of technology, and everything's tracked, like Facebook. Even if you try to delete the account, it never gets deleted. It's still always there. So um, it wouldn't even be a question if the government wanted to get into that person's Facebook account. Facebook would just give it up to them, no problem. And even Bill Gates made a comment saying that Apple should give up the information. So obviously, if the Androids are made by Microsoft or whatever the case may be, then anybody that's using an Android has given up their privacy, and Apple's standing up for privacy, and I give them a big thumbs up for that. And just imagine if the government, through a single action of somebody, the government just wants to go in and take everybody's guns, and you know, it's like, the people that, the whole thing with the 9/11 happening, and then everybody, now the government wants to just, search everybody, when they go into the planes and everything. It's just, we're living in a time where we're getting less and less, we're getting more and more of our rights being taken away from us. It's like we don't even really have freedom of speech anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you say something that you're not supposed to say, and they punish you. They punish you bad. You know, um, for example, like Pacquiao says something against the gays, and then like he just dropped the contract with him, and there's a lot of public backlash. a lot of people are being punished for expressing the truth of what they feel, and there's really no freedom of speech, really, you know. Um, so the whole thing about the Apple thing, I mean, I don't know what direction it's gonna go in. I haven't been keeping up to it, so I don't know if the FBI actually got Apple to give in or not, or if Apple's still standing strong and able to basically fight the FBI off their back. But I think it's gonna be a situation where we could observe and see, to see what happens and where this future is heading. Because if Apple is forced to give in, then you could pretty much assume that from now on out, we don't have privacy in no matter what device we have. Now it seems like if you have an Android, you have no privacy, but if you have an iPhone, then you have more security, more privacy. But if they get Apple to give in, then you could see that the government is going to have a lot of control over everything that we do. And if a huge company like Apple, having billions of dollars, can't fight off the government, then that's a big loss to the people. So it could just end up leading towards other things, other rights that's being taken away from us. And one of the big ones is our right to bear arms. Like depending on who becomes the president, if they don't favor firearms, then essentially I could almost see them confiscating everybody's guns, and then now the government owns all the guns and the people don't have guns. And I I'm for the people. I'm not really a pro-government type of person. I kind of value having more rights, um, and it's like whatever happened already happened, and they want to find out more information to find out more people that might be involved, but it's like, you know it already happened, and when you're taking people, when they're asking to get this code to break into this phone, and it's not just this specific instance, this eventually will lead towards affecting everybody's security, and that's simply just not worth it, and it's a huge issue. It's something that should not happen, because almost everybody uses cell phones, and if we don't have any type of privacy in our information in our phones, there's gonna be some huge problems. Not even things that you need to hide for criminal reasons, but just basic things like your bank account information and your identity. And if people could crack these codes and then they get into our phones, and there could be like huge problems. As far as everybody's personal lives are concerned, and this is something that we need to support Apple, and we need to support our own rights. You know, um, that's the way that I see it. I mean, it's sad that people want to kill people, and then it makes the government want to take away everybody's rights, but it's just not right. It's like somebody gets is drunk driving, and then he you know runs over like 20 people and kills 20 people, and then all of a sudden the government's like, all right, now nobody can drive anymore. Like, it's just like the way that they react to what happens, especially with the 9/11. A lot of times it's just kind of overboard. It's just unnecessary. you know, Tragedies will happen, and taking away everybody's rights and searching everybody all the time, and it's just it's not the route to go, in my opinion. You know, but I don't own an Apple. I actually have an Android, so what I do is I just try to I live I use it as if the government has access anyway, and I try not to have any reason, I try not to falsely believe that I have more privacy than I don't, and I really don't. I pretty much assume that they have that information anyway, and just if people want more privacy, pretty much they should probably just get rid of their phone, or just don't use it much. Just use it for the basics of what you need to use it for, but don't put so much information into it if you don't want certain people to find out that information. So I think with anything that we do in email, Facebook, the internet in general, YouTube or whatever, anything that we do on our phone, anything that we put on video, anything that we put in writing, if we want more privacy, we need to pretty much limit our use of technology. If we truly value privacy, we need to limit our use of technology. But if you choose to use this technology, I just wouldn't be surprised if the FBI ends up having all your information.